All glories to the Son of the devotees. All glories to the Son of the devotees. All glories to the Son of the devotees. All glories to Shishi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, chapter 13, verse 4 today. Can you repeat? Nivasa,
Nivasa,
Tvaya,
Tvaya,
Ravinatma,
Ravinatma,
Buddhis,
Buddhis,
Tatas,
Tatas,
Tato,
Tato,
Davati,
Davati,
Bo,
Bo,
Atavyam,
Atavyam,
Rachich,
Rachich,
Cha,
Cha,
Vatyotita,
Vatyotita,
Amsu,
Amsu,
Dumra,
Dumra,
Disho,
Vishu,
Na, Janati, Rajas,
Rajas,
Valaksham.
Valaksham.
You have it here? 5:13-4. Nivasatoya Dravinatma Buddhi.
Nivasatoya Dravinatma Buddhis.
Nivasatoya Dravinatma Buddhi.
Nivasatoya Dravinatma Buddhis.
Tatastato Davati Bo Atavyam.
Tatastato Davati Bo Atavyam.
tatas tato davati bo atavyam kvachit chavyatyotitapam sudumra kvachit chavatyotitapam sudumra diso na janati rajasvalaksha diso na janati rajasvalaksha Nivasatoya dravinatma buddhis Tatastato davati bo atavyam Kvachit shavatyotitapam sudumra Diso na janati rajasvalaksha
Nivasatoya dravinatma buddhis Tatastato davati bo atavyam Kvachit shavatyotitapam sudumra Diso na janati rajasvalaksha
Nivasatoya dravinatma buddhis Tatastato davati bo atavyam Kvachit chavatyotitapam sudumra Disho na janati rajasvalaksha
Nivasatoya dravinatma buddhis Tatastato davati bo atavyam Kvachit chavyatyotitapam sudumra Disho na janati rajasvalaksha
Nivasa residential place Toya water Dravina wealth Atmabuddhi who considers these material things the Atma or self. Tata here and there. Davati he runs. O king. Atavyam on that forest path of material existence. Vachitcha and sometimes. Vatya by the whirlwind. Utita raised. Pamsu by dust. Dumra appear smoke-colored. Disha the directions. Na not. Janati knows. Rajavala Aksha whose eyes are covered by the dust of the wind. Or is captivated by his wife during her menstrual period. Translation. My dear king, the merchant on the forest path of the material world, his intelligence victimized by home, wealth, relatives and so forth, runs from one place to another in search of success. Sometimes his eyes are covered by dust of a whirlwind. That is to say, in his lust he is captivated by the beauty of his wife, especially during her menstrual period. Thus his eyes are blinded, and he cannot see where to go or what he is doing. Purport. It is said that household attraction resides in the wife because sex is the center of household life. Yan maitunadi griyamedi sukham hitucham. Srimad Bhagavatam 7.9.45. A materialistic person, making his wife the center of attraction, works very hard day and night. His only enjoyment in material life is sexual intercourse. Therefore, karmis are attracted to women as friends or wives. Indeed, they cannot work without sex. Under the circumstances, the wife is compared to whirlwind, especially during her menstrual period. Those who strictly follow the rules and regulations of a household life engage in sex only once a month, at the end of the menstrual period. As one looks forward to this opportunity, his eyes are overwhelmed by the beauty of his wife. Thus it is said that the whirlwind covers the eyes with dust. Such a lusty person does not know that all his material activities are being observed by different demigods, especially the sun god, and are being recorded for the karma of one's next body. Astrological calculations are called Jyoti Shastra, because the Jyoti or effulgence in the material world comes from the different stars and planets. This science is called Jyoti Shastra, the science of the luminaries. By the calculation of Jyoti, our future is indicated. In other words, all the luminaries, the stars, sun and moon, witness activities of the conditioned soul. Thus is awarded a particular type of body. A lusty person whose eyes are covered by the dust of the whirlwind or material existence does not at all consider that his activities are being observed by different stars and planets and are being recorded. Not knowing this, the conditioned soul commits all kinds of sinful activities for the satisfaction of his lusty desires. Namaste Saraswati Devi Guruvani Prachami Verse was Divasatoya Dravinatma Buddhis Tatas Tato Gavatigo Atavyam Rachit Savyatyo Tapumsa Pam Sudumbra Isho Najanati Rajasya Raksham. My dear king, the merchant on the forest path of the material world, his intelligence victimized by home, wealth, relatives, and so forth, runs from one place to another in search of success. Sometimes his eyes are covered by the dust of a whirlwind. That is to say, in his lust he is captivated by the beauty of his wife, especially during a menstrual period. Thus his eyes are blinded, and he cannot see where to go or what he is doing. So in the Bhagavad Gita, how is it? In that third chapter, Arjuna asks, why is it one do the wrong thing even if I know it's right?
36.
3?
36. 36. 346.
Okay, exactly. Let's see what Arjuna says and what Krishna says. Yeah. Arjuna asked, O descendant of Vishnu, by what is one impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force? Krishna speaks. The Supreme Lord said, it is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the material mode of passion, later transformed into wrath, and which is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. As fire is covered by smoke, as a mirror is covered by dust, or as the embryo is covered by the womb, the living entity is similarly covered by different degrees of this lust. Thus the wise living entity's pure consciousness becomes covered by its eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. The senses, the mind, and the intelligence are the sitting places of this lust. Through them, lust covers the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him. Therefore, Arjuna, best of the Bharatas, in the very beginning, curb this great symbol of sin, lust, by regulating the senses, and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. The working senses are superior to dull matter, mind is higher than the senses, intelligence is still higher, and the mind, and he, the soul, is even higher than the intelligence. So in that way, the lust, attraction, and specifically the attraction between the male and the female, is like what the whole world is made up of, so to say. If that wouldn't be there, wouldn't really exist, this world. Why build a house? why endeavor? Lord Brahma had a problem in the beginning of creation. He wanted to create offspring. So he didn't need a wife. He just mentally created, and well, they manifested. Luckily, we are not in Lord Brahma's position. If our mind would be like that. And we just thought of something and it's there. Because in some way, it maybe happens still in a way that what we think of in due course of time manifest. But Lord Brahma, he had his 4 sons, the Kumara brothers, who was great sages. And Lord Brahma said, no, you please get married and help me to populate the universe. As they said, sorry, we are staying Brahmacharis. And that is Lord Brahma. His passion, or his anger, it was mentioned here, passion leads to anger, wrath. He got angry, but he could, by the power of his goodness, control the anger. Because and then the anger manifested in the form of Lord Shiva, taking birth there, coming out. Dark bluish or something, bluish and angry, crying. Okay, the point was, that's another side of it. Actually, the Kumara brothers, the Brahma knew that actually they have the right to say no to this request. That is the one. Even if the guru asks you to get married, you may say no. But don't make a fool of yourself, okay? Because if you say no, and decide to stay celibate like that, then really do it. So that's a difficulty in our modern time. Yes, I am going to do it. And then, so many was going to do it, but then fall over. So we take a humble position. But that is in principle, if the guru, even if the guru asks you to get married, you can do it. But you can't refuse that. But you have to have the proper, I would say, proper motivation, the right motivation. We have the example of, in that matter, we have the example of... No, I'm not speaking about it now. That's, okay, thank you for that hint. No, Yayati, he had his three sons, I think, 4, 5, Yayati, but he was the one who lost his youth by the curse of Sukracharya. And it was a sex life. That is this. Yayati saves a lady from the well, a princess, but she happens to be naked down there, and he saves, and then he has to marry her because she was naked and saw her naked, and then he has to marry her because that's the culture. And why she was down in the well was because some friends of her had no water. And I think that she was naked, undressed her and put her down in the well or something in there. And then she got married to this Yayati. This is an illustration of the complexities of material life and what lust can bring about. So Yayati, and she was going to have this girl who was the cause of being in the well. She was come with as a maidservant, in the marriage. But then she said, you're not allowed to have sex with her. Okay, in due course of time. It happened that Yayati fell as a victim of that girl. And there were some good reasons, but normally for Kshatriya it would not have been a problem. That's the Kshatriya culture, so to say. But now he had promised. And then the daughter goes to father Sukracharya and complains, and Sukracharya gets upset, and then he curses. There is a daughter with her husband, and then he curses the husband to become old and invalid. And he realizes that this is not very happy for the daughter. The father curses him. One way we can say, that's a nice curse. But the point is, for the daughter, that was not fun, because she wasn't really over with the fun of material existence. So that is an illustration of lust, what it can bring about. In one sense, you lose your youth. But in any case, engaging in sex life, it takes the vitality out of the body. We have heard. Okay. But what happened was that then Sukracharya said, okay, what did I do? Okay, you can get back your youth, you can trade your youth. If someone is willing to trade your old age for his youth, you can do that. And he gave that, okay, you get old, but you can get back your youth if someone trades his youth for your old age. Who will do that? He said, yes, I will do it. With some brahmachari will say, okay. So then King Yayati, he asked, the point is the proper intention. What is your intention with you go into? So then Yayati asked his oldest son, who is Yadu, Maharaj Yadu, please, and I've got into this terrible position, now I'm old and wrinkled, and there's no fun in life, neither for me nor my wife, specifically not for the wife maybe. Please, allow me to trade my old age for your youth. Then King Yadu, prince or son said, I'm sorry, father, I can't do that. I want to enjoy now. If I give my youth to you, then how am I going to enjoy? But then the point was that I want to enjoy now so I can renounce later and make spiritual progress. So that was the intention. The intention was actually to make spiritual progress. The intention was not, well, the enjoyment was there to go through the enjoying experience or something, whatever. If that works that way, I'm not quite sure. Well, here, King Yayati, in a way, at the end of the story here. Okay, so then the father has to accept this, and King Yadu was not at fault, because his intention was proper. His intention was making spiritual progress. Then the king goes to his next two, was it 5 sons or not 4? And then there was 2 sons. And there were 2 sons, and he asked them, both of them, can you take my old age and I take your youth? Because I'm not finished enjoying yet, nor my wife. Please. What is this work? Time is. Well, then they say, no way. We don't take your old age. We're going to enjoy life. Then we can't enjoy it. But they didn't speak of renunciation later on. They did not have a perspective. We enjoy life in order to, well, as a part of life, to then be able to renounce. The goal was not renunciation and spiritual progress. Thus they were cursed. They came to Lechas and Yavana, something like that. They were like the forefathers of the Lechas and Yavana, so that we can understand them. That's we, this culture, Lechas and Yavanas. We just want to enjoy. Our modern society is really Lecha and Yavana, just to enjoy sex life, or whatever it is, the senses and like that, with no idea of making spiritual progress. That's a form. You could say there could be a civilization, well, okay, enjoy. I mean, we can say that is the Vedic civilization in a way. There's a certain time for dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Follow religious principles, be a brahmachari, learn and study, then get married, earn money, wealth, or vegetables, or grains, cows, build a house, have a wife, I don't know, that time maybe they had more, but, and have kids, okay? Okay, and have kids, okay, that was the point. And then, moksha, then leave it all behind. Let's say, then be, go for liberation. Okay, so that's the Vedic culture. The Milecha culture is dharma, artha, kama. No moksha. In that way. And they don't even have dharma nowadays. It's just, gross ignorance. So these two sons were cursed because their intention was not right. Therefore they couldn't get away. They were caught. And then there was the youngest son, how was it? Puru. He said, yes, father, I will take your old age, no problem, please take my youth. So of course he is glorious. And he actually got then the old wrinkled, and the father got young and youthful. And then I said, well, it's a nice story, this connection. The father then goes along and he enjoys with his wife. I don't know if they get kids or what happens there, but in any case, enjoys the marital relationship to the full extent for 1,000 years. And then he thinks, well, what now? Still going on. So then he becomes reflective and thinks it's time to end with this. And then he tells a story to his wife about the goat and the she-goat. He actually tells his own story in the form of a story about the goat. So that's a nice way you can tell a story about something that's actually about yourself or something. In any case, then the wife gets the point, and he gives back the youth to his youngest son, and he takes his old age, and then I forgot what he did. What did he do then? What?
Yati, what he did?
Yeah. Did he go into the forest or?
Yeah, something like that. And then
he
achieves the heavenly planets, actually.
He achieved the heavenly planets.
So there's some story he again.
Okay, then there's another story there. Okay, I forgot that one. The point is, the attraction to the opposite sex, it's there, it's a part of life, of our material life, but it's a challenge to deal with it, so therefore there's rules and regulations and the different varnas. Well, varnas, I don't know, well in one sense maybe the varna is a part of the way of regulating us also. That we're properly engaged, according to our natural tendency, properly engaged, then we're properly engaged, it might be more possible for us to stay somewhat peaceful, but then properly engaged, but then there's also the ashramas, brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyas. So in that way, with the idea of controlling and regulating in such a way that we can renounce. Of course, now it's Kali Yuga, and we are in the modern civilization, militias and yavanas, maybe Prabhupada could say cats and dogs, monkeys, and then